The private dining room at Le Maison felt suffocating despite its elegant decor. Crystal chandeliers cast soft light over the weekly Parker family dinner, a tradition my sister Amanda insisted on maintaining for appearances. I adjusted my simple black blazer, watching Amanda hold court in her designer dress, regaling everyone with stories about her latest charity gala. At 32, she was the perfect socialite daughter, while I was still cleaning offices. Sarah? Dad's voice dripped with mockery as he cut into his Wagyu steak. Or, have you finally found a real career? I sipped my water, thinking of the quantum technologies headquarters I'd built from the ground up. I'm in building management, Dad. Like I've told you. Glorified janitor. My sister snickered. At least you're honest about it. Mom dabbed her lips with a napkin. Darling, it's not too late to join your father's firm. Even in an entry-level position. I'm happy with my work, I said quietly, checking my phone under the table. A message from my COO flashed. Forbes article goes live in 10 minutes. Stock markets braced for impact. Happy cleaning toilets? Amanda laughed. While I'm organizing million-dollar fundraisers. Speaking of millions, Dad cut in. Amanda's foundation just received another major grant. 8 figures. He beamed at my sister. That's what happens when you follow the right path. I thought of the offshore accounts where most of that grant money actually went. My investigators had tracked every penny of Amanda's creative accounting. Sarah's path is. Mom searched for a diplomatic word. Modest. But at least she's employed. Barely, Amanda added. Though I suppose someone has to clean the offices of successful people. My phone vibrated again. The Forbes article was ready. After 5 years of building quantum technologies in complete secrecy, using shell companies and private holdings, my identity as its founder was about to be revealed. Tell us about your day, dear, Mom said with forced politeness. Any exciting bathrooms to scrub? Actually, I began, but Amanda's tablet suddenly pinged loudly with a breaking news alert. The color drained from my sister's face as she read the headline. Her perfectly manicured hand began to shake. What is it? Dad demanded. Amanda's voice trembled as she read aloud. Mysterious CEO of Quantum Technologies revealed. The $4.2 billion empire's founder. The room went silent as my photo appeared on her tablet screen. That's impossible, Dad whispered, grabbing the tablet. Quantum Technologies is the most innovative tech company in the country. They're revolutionizing quantum computing. Their CEO is me, I said simply. The glorified janitor. Mom's wine glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the marble floor. A waiter rushed forward to clean it up. Thank you, I told him kindly. And please, send the entire staff home early tonight with full pay. I own the restaurant. They deserve a break. You own La Maison? Amanda choked out. Along with most of this block, I nodded. Commercial real estate is a solid investment. Dad was still staring at the article, his face ashen. 4.2 billion, quantum computing, revolutionary patents. All those nights you thought I was cleaning offices? I smiled slightly. I was building the most advanced quantum research facility in the world. Turns out those physics degrees you called impractical had some value. But your clothes, your apartment. Mom gestured weakly at my simple attire. Unlike some people, I glanced at Amanda. I don't need designer labels to feel successful. My phone buzzed continuously now as the news spread. Quantum technology stock was soaring as investors finally learned who had built their most profitable investment. The cleaning company, Amanda said faintly. A cover. Though it's quite successful too. I believe they handle maintenance for your foundation's offices. I checked my watch. Speaking of which, the SEC should be visiting those offices tomorrow. Something about irregular accounting practices. Amanda's face went from pale to gray. You're behind the investigation? She whispered. I believe in cleaning things thoroughly, I replied. Including corrupt charitable foundations. Dad found his voice at last. Princess, we had no idea. That's exactly the problem. I cut him off. You never bothered to look past your own assumptions. Too busy praising Amanda's fake success to notice my real achievements. My phone rang, the governor probably calling about the new quantum research center. I stood to leave, dropping several $100 bills on the table. Dinner's on me, as usual. I straightened my blazer. Though I suppose cleaning ladies shouldn't throw money around. I walked toward the door, then paused. Oh, and Amanda? The foundation's offices need cleaning tomorrow. But I'm afraid your usual maintenance company just terminated their contract. The sound of my heels clicking on marble echoed through the stunned silence as I left them to digest their new reality. The next morning, I stood in my penthouse office at Quantum Technologies, watching multiple screens broadcast the fallout. My photo was everywhere alongside headlines like Tech's Hidden Queen and Cleaning Lady to Quantum Computing Pioneer. Your family is in the lobby, my assistant informed me through the intercom. Your sister appears to be distraught. I glanced at the security feed. Amanda was indeed crying, her perfect makeup streaking down her face. Mom clutched her Hermes bag like a shield, while Dad paced frantically, phone pressed to his ear. Send them up, I said, turning to face the wall of quantum computing patents that had built my empire. And Caroline? Call the SEC. Tell them they can begin their audit of the Parker Foundation. They entered like chastened children, their usual confidence shattered. The office, with its sweeping views of the city and elegant display of quantum technology, seemed to diminish them further. The SEC is at my office, Amanda sobbed. They're seizing everything. Standard procedure for fraud investigations, I replied calmly, not turning around. $8 million in charitable donations, redirected to personal accounts. TSK. You have to stop this, Dad demanded, though his voice lacked its usual authority. She's your sister. Now I turned, fixing them with a steady gaze. Like you stopped belittling and mocking me for years? Like you stopped comparing me to her success at every family dinner? We didn't know, Mom whispered. How could we know you were this? She gestured at the office, the empire I'd built. You never asked, I said simply. Too busy believing your own narrative. The brilliant socialite daughter and the failure who cleaned offices. My phone buzzed. Quantum technology stock had jumped another 20% since the revelation. The market loved the story of the secret genius CEO. But why pretend to be a cleaner? Amanda asked, dabbing at her ruined makeup. I learned early that people reveal their true nature when they think you're beneath them. I smiled slightly. Like making your cleaning staff work unpaid overtime at your foundation events. She flinched. Your sister's reputation will be ruined, Mom pleaded. The foundation was stealing from cancer patients and homeless shelters. I finished. The money you embezzled was meant for people who needed it. Actions have consequences. What do you want? Dad asked, his entrepreneurial mind finally engaging. Name your price to make this go away. I laughed, the sound echoing off the modernist walls. I'm worth $4.2 billion, Dad. There is no price. My phone rang, the president of MIT, probably calling about the quantum research center I was funding. I let it go to voicemail. Then why? Amanda's voice cracked. Revenge. Justice, I corrected. For every person your foundation cheated. For every employee you treated like dirt because they weren't society enough. I paused. And yes, a little bit for the sister you mocked for daring to take a different path. We can fix this, Dad tried again. As a family, I moved to my desk, pressing a button that lit up the wall screens. Security footage began playing. Years of family dinners, parties, and events where they'd belittled and dismissed me. I recorded everything. Every insult, every mockery, every time you called me a failure. They watched in horrified silence as their own voices filled the room with years of casual cruelty. The market loves transparency, I said quietly. And I built quantum technologies on the principle of truth, even uncomfortable truths. What happens now? Mom asked, her socialite composure finally cracking. I sat down at my desk. Every inch the CEO they'd never believed I could be. Now, Amanda faces charges for financial fraud. The foundation is dissolved, its remaining assets redirected to legitimate charities. And you? I smiled without warmth. You get to watch your failure daughter revolutionize quantum computing. Please, Amanda whispered. I'll lose everything. Like you made others lose everything? I shook my head. The SEC has the evidence. Your fate is in their hands now. My assistant's voice came through the intercom. Miss Parker? The Nobel Committee is on line 1. Dad's knees actually buckled. Mom had to grab his arm. Time for you to go, I said, standing. I believe you know the way to the service entrance? You always made sure I did. As security escorted them out, I turned back to my city view. Below, news vans still crowded the street, eager to glimpse the cleaning lady who'd built a tech empire. My phone buzzed with another message. Quantum Technologies stock hits record high. Market cap now $5.1 billion. 3 months later, I stood in the grand auditorium of MIT, where I'd once been a scholarship student. The room was packed with the world's leading scientists, tech innovators, and media, all gathered for Quantum Technologies' revolutionary product launch. When I started this company, I addressed the crowd. Quantum computing was considered a distant dream. Today, we're making that dream accessible to everyone. I gestured to the sleek device on stage. The Q-Core will revolutionize medical research, climate science, and artificial intelligence. The applause was thunderous. In the front row, my former physics professors beamed with pride. The same professors who'd supported me when my family refused to. My phone buzzed, another news alert. Parker Foundation directors found guilty of fraud. Amanda Parker faces 10 years. Below it, a message from Mom. Watching your presentation. Please, Sarah. We need to talk. I slipped the phone away and continued. But today isn't just about technology. It's about transformation. Which is why I'm announcing the Quantum Future Fund, $500 million to support underprivileged students in STEM fields. The audience erupted in cheers. My assistant discreetly signaled from the side. My family had arrived, hovering at the back of the auditorium. Because sometimes, I concluded, meeting their eyes across the crowded room, the greatest innovations come from those who were told they'd never succeed. After the standing ovation and press questions, I found them waiting in my private conference room. They looked different, humbled. Amanda wore simple clothes now, her designer wardrobe sold to pay legal fees. Mom's perfectly maintained appearance showed cracks. Dad seemed to have aged years. The sentencing is tomorrow, Amanda said quietly. 10 years, they say. The evidence was overwhelming, I replied, taking my seat at the head of the table. $8 million stolen from children's cancer research tends to upset judges. You could speak for her, Mom pleaded. Tell them she's learned her lesson. Has she? I asked sharply. Or is she just sorry she got caught? Amanda looked down at her hands. I never thought. I was so focused on appearing successful that I forgot about actually being successful. While mocking my actual success, I added, funny how that worked out. We've lost everything, Dad said heavily. The house, the cars, our reputation. Now you know how your victims felt, I noted. The families who needed that charity money. The employees you looked down on. My phone buzzed again. Quantum technology stock was soaring after the product launch. My net worth had just crossed $6 billion. The quantum computer, Dad said suddenly. It's extraordinary. All those nights we thought you were cleaning offices. I was building it, I nodded. Every insult, every dismissal just made me work harder. I'm going to jail, Amanda whispered. While you're changing the world. Actions have consequences, I said, but my voice was gentler now. The question is, what will you learn from them? Can you ever forgive us? Mom asked, tears in her perfectly made-up eyes. I stood and walked to the window, looking out at the MIT campus where my journey had begun. Forgiveness isn't the point. Understanding is. Do you finally understand what you did wrong? They exchanged glances. Then Amanda spoke. We valued appearance over substance, status over achievement, and we hurt you deeply. And we were wrong, Dad added. So terribly wrong. About everything. I turned back to them. The Quantum Future Fund needs administrators. After your sentence, Amanda. Entry-level position. No shortcuts, no special treatment. Real work helping real people. Her eyes widened. You'd give me a chance? One chance, I nodded. To prove you can earn success instead of faking it. And us? Mom asked hesitantly. I pulled out my phone and opened my calendar. Sunday dinners. Once a month. At regular restaurants. No more pretension. We start over as equals or not at all. They exchanged looks, then nodded slowly. Good. I gather my materials. Now I have a company to run. Amanda, report to the prison tomorrow. Serve your time with dignity. Mom, Dad, I'll text you about dinner. As they stood to leave, I added, oh, and the cleaning staff here? They all have PhDs. Never judge someone by their job title. After they left, I returned to my office where the Nobel Committee was waiting to discuss my quantum breakthrough. On my desk, a framed photo showed a younger me in a cleaner's uniform, standing in front of what would become quantum technologies. Sometimes success isn't about proving others wrong. Sometimes it's about proving yourself right, one quantum leap at a time. My phone buzzed with another message. Time Magazine Person of the Year interview confirmed. Below it, a reminder. Visit Children's Hospital tomorrow. Q-Core Cancer Research Trials beginning.